Adnan! Assalamu alaikum. Love you, man.
You hear the cheers, you see the smile. More than 20 years after he was sentenced to life in prison, today Adnan Syed walked out of the Cummings courthouse downtown into a crowd of supporters after a judge ordered his murder conviction be thrown out.
Today's developments are not the end of the story, as Syed remains under house arrest and could face a new trial in connection with the 1999 killing of his ex-girlfriend. And this is new video posted on Twitter by Syed's longtime friend and advocate, Rabia Chaudhry. It shows him at home seeing what's in the fridge, and Rabia says in the video, quote, "Leftovers at home never tasted so good."
It is the big story we're following at 7 o'clock. Welcome to those of you watching on CBS News Baltimore and WJZ. I'm Rick Ritter.
And I'm Nikki Zizaza. The judge's decision after State Attorney Marilyn Mosby's office requested the move last week, saying it did not have confidence in Syed's conviction after identifying two new possible suspects. And WJZ has live team coverage tonight as we follow the case from multiple angles. Avajoy Burnett is at the courthouse.
But let's begin with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren. Mike, this hearing a long time coming, but the question is, what happens next?
Rick, Nikki, right now prosecutors have signaled that they plan to ask for a new trial, but they could change their minds. They have 30 days to do that. You just showed the video of Adnan at home with his family. He declined to speak to reporters as he left the courthouse, but he was all smiles. Adnan Syed is going home after being behind bars for more than 20 years. At the age of 17, he was convicted of the 1999 murder of Hae Min Lee, his former girlfriend at Woodlawn High School. Prosecutors are not asking to dismiss the case, but at this point, Syed will remain on home detention, awaiting a new trial. His old conviction has been vacated by the judge.
Ask that Adnan Syed be given a new trial where he is adequately represented and the latest evidence presented in the interests of fairness and justice.
In court, Lee's brother wept and said he felt blindsided and that he's lived a nightmare for years. Attorney Steve Kelly represents the victim's family.
They are disappointed that today's hearing happened so quickly and with virtually no notice, and that the court acted the way it did, and that the prosecutor's office made the recommendation the way that they did. This family is interested in the pursuit of justice. They want to know more than anybody who it was that killed Hae Min Lee.
But supporters of Syed say it is not justice to keep him locked up. He continues to maintain his innocence. Prosecutors say they discovered evidence about a suspect who threatened to kill Lee that was never disclosed to the defense, and of a second suspect as well. They say they were shocked, along with evidence of possible police wrongdoing, faulty cell phone records, and unreliable witnesses. Syed's attorney told the judge their sympathy goes out to the family of the victim, but he is innocent. Now, there is a large case file, 17 boxes of material, and right now it's at the Maryland Attorney General's office. They'd been handling some of the past prosecutions and court battles in this, and there's a bit of a feud brewing between the Attorney General and State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby's office, and the Attorney General says that there were no discovery violations, that defense attorneys had access to this entire file, and he says that Marilyn Mosby's office failed to consult with his office about any possible violations in the case. Our live team coverage continues with Avajoy Burnett and more reaction on these bombshell developments. Avajoy.
Hi, Mike. Well, Adnan Syed's own brother told us last week he did not think this day would come because they've come so close in the past only to be disappointed. Outside the courthouse today were hundreds of supporters, also inside. Many of them have been following this case for years.
Cheers erupted outside the courthouse as Adnan Syed walked out. A judge announced he should be released because there is grounds to vacate his murder conviction. More than 100 people packed into a courtroom to hear the judge's ruling. Among them were two men who served time with Syed.
We're just so happy for his family. So happy. I'm telling you, he's the best human being you will ever meet. And we stood on his innocence from day one.
University of Baltimore law professor David Jarrow said it is highly unusual for convictions to be vacated.
It is not always easy to bring the kind of evidence that would allow you to overturn a conviction. This case is somewhat exceptional in that they were able to identify a key piece of evidence that the state's attorney absolutely would be obligated to turn over and apparently did not.
Syed was convicted for killing his ex-girlfriend, Heyman Lee, in 1999. Her brother told the court that the last 20-plus years have been like a nightmare for his family. It's just tough, he said. Whenever I think it's over, it always comes back. One of the men who served time behind bars with Syed said he feels for the family, but he's convinced that his friend is innocent.
And it's tough. I know it's tough for them, but on one hand, I can only ask that they accept the ruling and accept what the state presented as evidence to show that it wasn't Adnan.
Professor David Jaros also pointed out it's really tough to retry a case like this because it's been so long, more than 2 decades. He said witnesses and evidence could no longer be there. Live tonight at 7, Ava Joy Burnett for WJZ.